are raised, fed, watered by our limited resources, and spend their lives producing waste high in emissions, they are driven in diesel trucks, slaughtered, packed in packages, transported again by refrigerated trucks to a buyer to be refrigerated until purchased and then consumed. Also, it should be noted that nearly 50% of all meat is never consumed, but actually thrown away. The current global appetite for meat is simply not sustainable. Most people have no idea the huge amount of resources it takes to put meat in grocery stores, cafeterias, restaurants, wholesale outlets, convenience stores, homes across the world, and everywhere and every day. Of the nearly 380 million meat-eating Americans, each consume on an average of 125 pounds of meat per person in 2012. If you do the math, you'll find that approximately 47 billion pounds of meat was consumed in our country that year alone. On top of that, human population is always increasing in number. At present, we're currently using more than 2 planet Earths of resources, with demand growing at an exponential rate. The Earth cannot support this much longer. More people than ever before are making the switch to a diet free of animal products. The UN is urging humans worldwide to adopt this lifestyle. There are many plant-based athletes, professionals, people young and old in all walks of life. Not only are the environmental benefits huge, it can also be amazing for health and vitality. A plant-based diet has been named the best diet for humans and the planet by health organizations around the world, with the ability to stop and even reverse diseases of affluence such as cancer, diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. I hope you learned something about what it takes to bring meat to your plate today and how you have the power to make a difference. I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful. Okay, now,
Michelle?
Sorry, Michelle. Just 1 minute.
Oh, you're fine.
So my name's Michelle DeRoth, and I'm an undergrad student here at Eastern. And today I'm just going to give a short presentation on sustainability and what it is, why it's important, and a few ways that you can get involved.
Do you want a clicker? I got a little clicker.
Oh, yeah.
It's already set up.
Okay, so we kind of hear the word sustainability tossed around a lot, and it's true that it's a broad and pretty complex topic, but I found this definition that I liked that I thought kind of summed it up. So, okay, so sustainability is the ability to have man's needs be met without jeopardizing the integrity or availability of the natural resources and without jeopardizing the future generations' abilities needs to be met. Why is sustainability important? Obviously, this is something probably a lot of people know, but the world's population is increasing exponentially. And as that's happening, the resources of the world are being used, and so those two things are in great conflict. The UN projects that by 2030, the population is going to reach 8.5 billion. And as Josh mentioned, we're already currently using the equivalent of about 2 planet Earths to maintain the usage of resources that we're currently using. So just a little quick fact, if we all wanted to enjoy a European style of living, which mind you is still about half what we as Americans use, the Earth could only sustainably support about 2 billion people. And so the evidence of unsustainable resources all around us Global aquifers are currently being pumped 35 times faster than rainfall can naturally recharge them. Topsoil is being lost about 10 to 40 times faster than it is formed. Oceans are being overfished, and our coral reefs are dying at alarming rates. And finally, worldwide, we have lost half the vertebrate species in the air, water, and land since 1970. So that's not good, as we all kind of know. So we are able to stop and even to begin to reverse this cycle by being mindful of our overconsumption and overpopulation. So this is just a quick thing to kind of keep in mind. I would urge you that throughout your day to kind of look at the things that you're using and to ask yourself, how many uses can I get out of this one thing? There's many times that we're throwing away objects that can be reused in many ways throughout our homes, our relationships, our work lives. So just kind of keep that in mind, and obviously recycling is very important, so reduce, reuse, recycle. And then I just wanted to share a couple of cool projects that are going on just in our area. This is Project Hope, which is a nonprofit that's up in the West Central neighborhood of Spokane, I believe. And they bring youth out and take abandoned plots of land and turn them into farming plots. And so the youth go out and grow the food, and then they take it to local markets to sell. And so that's something that you can get involved with volunteering or just helping with the donations and everything for the nonprofit. That's Project Hope. And then this is actually happening in Sandpoint. Sandpoint is taking on the first pilot project with solar roadways, where they're going to be piloting a project to generate electricity from solar-powered roadways, which is a pretty cool cause. And this is a project through the Sustainable Human Network, and it's something that you can integrate into your own life in many ways. It's basically trying to shift us away from a monetary economy into a gift-based economy. So basically it's a way to partner up with other volunteers and community members and share your gifts and talents instead of exchanging money. So, and there's lots of ways that you can do that. I mean, even with your neighbors, you could, if your neighbor is homesick and needs someone to go to the grocery store, you go to the grocery store and do their grocery shopping, and then, they kind of owe you a favor. And so instead of, wasting money and resources by just always kind of looking out for ourselves, we can help each other out just by, being neighborly and coming together as a community and as a civilization. And so this is 5 ways that you can go green on campus. So I have you can walk, bike, or carpool to school, which can cut down a lot of emissions. And also as Eastern students, we all get free bus passes. Then reduce your intake of disposable items, so plastic forks and spoons and all that good stuff. And then increase your use of, or invest in non-disposable items, so get a non-disposable water bottle for one instead of always buying plastic water bottles out of the vending machine. What else do I have on there? I can't see the 4th one. Does anyone want to
Take
notes electronically.
Yeah.
Oh yes, take notes electronically so we can cut down on using paper all the time by bringing in a laptop or a phone to write your notes on. And then finally, cut down or cut back on animal consumption. I think we all just enjoyed a pretty hearty and filling vegetarian lunch in here, and so there's thousands of recipes and ways that you can get involved in eating a more plant-based diet, and anything helps. And then I had a little video, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
I'm just gonna steal it and put it on.
We could skip the video because we're running out of time.
I'll try quickly. You can take up my time. I don't really need it.
You know, let's just.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for your time, thank you for coming today, and for you to take
Keep clapping. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I got 20 seconds, so I'll see what I can say in 15 seconds. Well, first off, to the other speakers up here, I thank you. One beautiful thing about this, you have 2 old guys and 2 young people. And I appreciate that. So what the 2 old guys do is they just pretty much speak from our heart and all the information we gathered through the years. Back in 1972, I graduated from Eastern Washington State College, and then the next year became a university. And then I went to Arizona State University, got my graduate degree, and then I got my principal teaching certification, yada, yada, yada. He's going to shut me off in about 1 second.
No,
So
we have another half hour.
we got another half hour?
You got time. 1:30 is when we should be.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can talk slow now. You guys will have questions, right? Well, there was this time back in... Okay, so I could give you all this information, and I thank you, because I'm gonna tie into all that. But sometimes we need what they call common sense. But when I was first told that, here was my response to that. I said, if you've never been there, how you can get the common sense? You have to be there and get some kind of experience, and then you can start developing common sense. If you've never been to an elevator, ever, and you walk into a building like I did back in 1964, 65 in Spokane, I didn't know what an elevator was. I couldn't find the stairway. And the elevator wasn't that great anyway, so part of what I'm going to talk about is that common sense that we all have to a certain point. And all the things we've been told time and time and time and time and time again until it takes hold. Like taking garbage and throwing out your window while you're driving down the road. I still see the garbage. Some people are still throwing it out their window. We talk about taking care of our trash. Well, we just found a place out on the res where somebody was dumping a bunch of garbage because they didn't have enough common sense to take it to the dump where we take care of it. Okay? One thing I want to say is, when I was looking on here, and I wasn't being disrespectful to any of the speakers, but Cherry Point and the Lummi tribe, the Lummi Nation, they were fighting that as long as a lot of other people here in the United States and nationwide. Well, they just got word from the Army Corps of Engineers that the permit was denied. The Lummi tribe and all of us won. We got a victory going, so that's great. And all the things that we could do. I was kind of cynical at one time. I thought, if he didn't speak up, who cares, right? And back in the 60s, I was in the thing going against Vietnam and all that stuff, doing the marches, and then I got drafted. I quit going to those marches, but I got into these other marches, right? So I'm also military. There are some things that I remember this prayer, and I'm going to ask you guys to all stand up and do what I'm going to do. And then I'll give you an example of how that works. So if everybody would please rise, because I know you guys have been sitting there for a while. Okay, what I'm going to speak in the mic, what I want you to do is take your right hand and pretend you got some earth. And then hold it out. Just make sure you don't bump into anybody. Just put it off to your side. Okay? And in your left hand, you pour or you scoop up some water and turn that to your left side. So you're having your arms outstretched. And pretend you were out in the field or out on a mountaintop, or even out here on the plaza or someplace. And we can feel that breeze, that wind that was coming through this morning before the rainfall. And you're standing out there and the clouds break and the sun's touching you, the sun's hitting you. And this was this gentleman's prayer so long ago. He said, if you have the earth in one hand and you have the water in the other, and you can feel the wind and you can feel the sun, you have all four elements of life. Think about that. All four elements. Without one of those elements, we're dead. Okay, you can sit down. Thank you. So sometimes, using some of that common sense, I have to remind myself to go out and do that. And realize whatever I'm doing is having an impact. Now see if it's going to be an impact on the earth or impact on me. Yeah, I can deal with that. But in June, I'm going to have a great granddaughter. In June, I'm going to have a great granddaughter. And in July, we're going to have another grandson. So what does that mean? Well, that means when I was your guys' age, did I think about kids? Nah. Did I think about grandkids? Oh, wow, wait, no. Great-grandkids? Not even. But as we get older, and we get the education, and we get the common sense, we get the experience, we get the knowledge, we get the wisdom, and we start having connections, family. And my wife and I have talked about this. And we said, you know, what is our great-grandchildren going to go through? I mean, look what we're going through right now. What can I and what can my wife and I do? You know, somebody might say, well, not much, that's only two of you. But here's the cool thing. We're doing it. So when I die, am I going to have any regrets or any guilt? No. If the rest of the world wants to abuse Mother Earth and all the elements that we have and make it bad for our future generations, that's their guilt. Thank you. I just asked you to do that when I get to this point because that's going to be the next thing. Oh, you're out there. What? Say it. Oh, I got to answer that. Oh, gosh, listen to this Indian talking. Okay, the point is, we can all do something, right? But just think of how many we's it takes to make that one eye and how many eyes it takes to make that we. Cherry Point is an example. I was over in Washington, D.C. speaking about that. On this little piece of grass in the middle of D.C. And there were about 14 tribal representatives who were out there and we were making our speeches. Well, it went it went national. And I was getting texts and all that from other people saying, wow, I saw you on TV or I saw you on this Facebook. I thought, man, that was a cool speech you made. Just like that. Okay. Another thing, I retired from education last year. But when I was in school, I used to ride my bike to work. And we were talking about economy. Oh, Mr. Brownigal, how come you ride your bike to work? You're getting kind of old. Getting kind of old? I am old. So anyway, what happened was, I said, well, come here. So they all come to the window. And I said, look at all these four-wheel drive trucks, cars going by. Count them. I'll give you a minute. I said, here's what I'm doing. I'm saving gas and oil for future generations and all these people because I'm riding my bike. And they said, well, that doesn't make any sense. I said, yeah, it doesn't. I said, what makes sense for me is I'm doing it. I'm riding my bike, so my great-grandchildren might have something. All those four wheels going by, they choose to do what they do. So what I'm also saying is there's a certain conscience that has to be there. If it's not there, it's not there. How many of you ever flew over the redwoods? Notice how ugly that is? When you're driving through the redwoods, beautiful. Beautiful. Then you fly over it, and you're going down a redwood strip, because everything on each side is wiped out. It'll never, ever, ever be back, unless we all get wiped out. And 400 years from now, there's going to be redwoods down there. And the last thing I want to say, one thing that really, I guess, touches me, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I'm meaning it, and I can even include myself. Sometimes we're just ignorant. Even if we have a BA degree and a master's degree and a PhD, sometimes when it comes to the simple things like Mother Earth, the water, our children and our great-grandchildren, we sometimes get ignorant. So I told my wife the other day, I said, I can take this money and I can buy that. We can take our money and we can buy that. But what are we going to leave our great-grandchild that's coming? Just a few years of comfort? Or do we sacrifice now? And it, again, common sense, it's our sacrifice we're doing without. See, it's kind of cool. How many of you go to church? How many of you go to a spiritual gathering or doing? Okay. Well, any one of those, you're taking part of your life and you're making a sacrifice so you can become a better human being. If I take some water and I'm going to abuse it and misuse it, all I got to do is think of that time that I sacrificed. All I got to do is think of that time standing there, and it's been a lot of times. And I can look at that water and say, I can sacrifice a little bit and not need all that. My wife and I last year, we took our front yard, cleaned up grass, that's hard work. Taking the sod out, rolling it up, and then we put stones. Just think how much water I saved. Just think of how much, what do you call that, all that chemical stuff. When I walk outside now, I can rock on. Thank you for those who got it. Now that was my second joke, right? Okay, last thing. I want everybody to do this. Okay, now I want you to do this. You gotta look real close. Okay, everybody do that. Okay, someone gotta do it. Everybody do it? Okay. Now what's the other one? Oh, everybody do this. All right. And there's one more and I can't remember. Okay, here it is. Show you, I could be a high-tech Indian. This is my overhead. This is my PowerPoint. And these are my handouts. All right. Thank you.
All right, so can you're not doing?
I could go really, really quick. How much time do you have?
Hmm? Yeah.
Are we good?
We have time if you want to.
I don't even have to bring everything out. Okay, guys, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good? All right, I'm doing good. So I know as a college student, the first thing that comes to your mind is like, oh, it's not easy to do everything that you guys are saying. Well, it actually is. The University of California, San Diego, actually came up with a list of 14 ways that college students can save water. And it's something simple, just like you said, bringing a water bottle to school every day. Even cutting your showers. I know we laughed when he said cutting 37 showers, but even cutting the time that you spend in showers. Most of us are in dorm rooms, and I don't know how the dorm rooms go here, like if there's a special shower stall, but if you cut even 30 seconds off of your shower every time that you shower, you're able to get everything done. You don't need a 25-minute shower or even a 10-minute shower. And you save water. And our college uses